All right, guys. So welcome back to the Motobookie podcast. Sorry, we've kind of put the podcast on hold for a couple of months while we redid the app and kind of added some new features to the Motobookie app. And of course, we would have loved to have been podcasting during the SMX rounds. Just we were primarily focused on putting out the new app, so we weren't able to jump on the podcast. First and foremost, I want to invite everybody to go and check out our new app. It's app.motobookie.com. As you guys know, it's the first social wagering platform in the industry and in sports in general. So we're super proud of that. We ask you to please support us. Get on there. It's absolutely free. You don't have to put a credit card in. You don't have to do anything like that. And so what we're doing right now is we're running what's called the Motobookie Challenge. And what that is you go to the app.motobookie.com, you create a profile. Upon completion of your profile, you will receive fantasy chips. And the way it's working right now is you'll be able to use those fantasy chips to wager every weekend on the races. And how we're going to do it is we're going to switch it up a little. We're going to change out the pay structure. So how it's going to work is whatever user has the highest number of wins. I want to make sure people understand we are not going on who has accumulated the most chips. We are going on who has accumulated the most wins. So this past weekend, we saw a lot of people betting large amounts, 500 chips on Tomac, 500 chips on Jet. Unfortunately, that's going to sink you pretty quick because we're starting each account out with 1,000. So the goal is for people to engage on the app in smaller bets, $5, $10, $20, 20 chip bets, so that we can create more action throughout the app. So the way it's going to work is we're currently the payout's going to be as followed. We're going to take the user with the highest win count from Anaheim and San Francisco, and we are going to pay out the following prizes. So the first place guy is going to receive $500. Second place is going to receive $400, and third place is going to receive $300. So after the San Francisco round is complete, the app will update. We will post the winner, the leaderboard, which will show the top 10. And like I said, whatever user has accumulated the most wins will receive those prizes. What we're also going to do is we will combine San Diego plus Anaheim 2. So after those two rounds, we will pay out another prize of $500 for first, $400 for second place, and $300 for third place. And then following that, we will be combining the Detroit, Glendale, and Arlington rounds. So whatever user has the highest win count after those three rounds will receive those same prizes. We're also looking to get some additional stuff going. And as far as prize give outs and stuff like that. So for right now, we'll be offering you cash. It's absolutely free to play. We ask you guys to please invite a friend. And just join in the fun, man. I mean, we're trying to create something new, bring some new eyes to the sport, make it interesting. So on the weekends, you can play. I know there's other fantasy leagues. Ours is structured a little different. You're able to bet one-on-one with people and wager within the app with person to person, a little bit different from the other fantasy stuff that's going on. And we want to real quick give us a big shout out to Buttery Films. He's been super, super cool with jumping on board with me and really helping me promote this thing. Him and Ryder, another guy that's part of the kind of the Buttery crew. We appreciate everything they've been doing to help me kind of get this thing off the ground. As you guys know, in the past, I've tried some different avenues of promoting, and some people in the industry are for it. Some people aren't for it. But at the end of the day, my goal is to just get more eyes on the sport. And I do know that there's a lot of people that are willing to watch something that they can wager on. It creates a little bit of excitement above and beyond the normal race. And that's kind of what our goal is. So I want to real quick, once again, thank you to Buttery Films for shouting us out, for putting us on the YouTube channel and everything that he's done. We're hoping to create some sort of a partnership with him, whereas each month or each time we pay out prizes, I'd like to be able to extend merchandise from the Buttery merch line to people who win on the app. So we're trying to do some sort of partnership with him. And once again, just want to thank him for everything that he's done. And we appreciate that. So once again, we can jump right in real quick. I thought I'd show you guys the current leaderboard. So after week 1, we currently have Baked Hank with 34 wins. We got Lauren Parker in second place with 26 wins. We have B Ham 4141 with 20 wins. We got Films from Above with 18 wins. So if you guys want to go ahead and see the top 10 leaderboard, simply log on to the app. There's an icon at the very top of the app on the far right-hand side of the homepage at the top that will show you what's going on with the top 10 leaderboard so you can keep up with that. And with that being said, we can jump right into A1. I thought it was an amazing night of racing. We were there to watch it live, my family and I. And I would say opening ceremonies, just the vibe in the stadium. The seats were packed, which I couldn't be happier for. To see Supercross in a position where it's completely sold out, which it looked like it was completely sold out, is absolutely awesome. As far as the racing goes, I hate to say it, guys, but from the eye test, and not only the eye test, but what we saw on the track, I think Jet Lawrence is definitely going to be very difficult to beat. We'll start with the 450s, and I don't know that without some major crash or something catastrophic to the bike, I think week in and week out, even with a mid-pack start, I don't see Jet being off the podium. I really feel that he's in a position now after the outdoor season and kind of just owning this group of people in the outdoor season, with the exception of Eli, that the confidence is not only there, but the bike's in a good place. I think he's as fit as he can be. And I really feel that his strategy of, getting good starts, getting out front, getting a 2 or 3 second gap and just managing that gap is something you're going to see him just wear these guys down throughout the year. I think everyone who was even close to him, you look at Jason Anderson, Cooper Webb, any of those guys, obviously they're getting older in age. And as the season progresses, I don't see them, even from a physical standpoint, being able to maintain the level of fitness that Jet has. I would say in the last 5 to 10 minutes of the main event, it looked like he was just completely on cruise control. So I'm really not worried about his stamina or his fitness, because he looked really, really good. Throughout the entire race, he looked in control. Bike looked like it was working great for him. Moving on from Jet, I thought Anderson rode absolutely amazing. Obviously, you can see that fight is back. The want to get up there and fight for wins and fight for podiums. You saw that throughout the night. You could tell in his riding, he was aggressive. He looked really, really good. I think, maybe if him and Coop hadn't gotten into the kind of that battle, which obviously probably slowed them down a little bit, maybe they could have pressured Jet a little more. That's hard to say. Jet may have just turned it on at that point and gapped him again. That's yet to be seen. I think Coop just bad beat. That stupid kicker, unfortunately, got a lot of people throughout the night. We were there to watch qualifying. I was there to watch all the heat races and everything. And I would say I saw at least 20 guys almost go over the bars, and probably a half dozen that did go over the bars. So I'm not sure going forward, they may want to consider either putting that jump in a different place where you're not coming out of a corner, creating that weird lip off of it. But that was one obstacle, unfortunately, that claimed, Coop and Thrasher, and that sucks. But he was able to get up. I think he managed a top 5. So it's not like he's out of it. In the 450s, other than that, I think AP rode really, really well. He looked strong. He looked like he was, really racy in his heat race, and we're excited to see if he can bring something else, in the next coming rounds. Unfortunately, not a lot to say about Mookie and Kenny, with them going down so early, or bike issues. I forget what happened to Kenny, but with them being out of it so early in the race, really hard to see what they have. We're going to need 3 or 4 rounds to really let them get a good start and all run together. So I don't think A1 was a good judge of, or a good gauge for Kenny and Mookie. And then moving on to Eli. I hate to say this, man, because I'm a massive Eli fan. I think, and he probably will never come out and say this, between Feld and sponsorships and this, pumping up this rivalry of the Eli comeback with the Jet being the future. I think they were really good at selling that narrative. I don't think Eli has any chance. Based off of what we saw, and I know it's just Anaheim 1, but he was 40-something seconds off a Jet. And I just don't think that you're going to make up that type of gap. And the age that he is, and coming back from that injury, and there's no way that anyone's going to sit and tell me that that was bike settings. I mean, he was 40 plus seconds off the pace. I think this may be just an Eli farewell tour, which is perfectly fine with me. I will still show up and pay my money to sit in the stands and just watch him cruise around in 5th or 6th, just because I'm that big of a fan. But, you know, for all the Eli fans out there, I think his time has come. I don't see any scenario where even if he gets the bike dialed in, that over the next 16 rounds or however many rounds are left before the end of Supercross, that he's going to make up 40 something seconds. I just don't see it. He didn't look good in that second set of whoops. He fought those all night long. He just, the intensity clearly wasn't there, which is understandable. He probably got arm pump tightened up because it was A1, long time off the bike. But there's just no way, with the progression that Jet has, the speed that he has, the fitness, the program, just all of it, I don't see a case where maybe Daytona, but I don't even think he can beat him at Daytona this year. I really don't. I think Jet's had some time on outdoors. Daytona's not an outdoor track, but it's a Supercross / outdoor track. And honestly, I'd be shocked to see Eli even win around this year. I really do. After A1 and kind of watching him, I don't see a scenario with Kenny and Mookie and Jason and Coop and Jet. I just don't see that he's going to be able to make up the type of loss ground over the last 6 months of being injured and being off the bike to be able to run up front with Jet. So my title pick after week 1, which is probably a no-brainer to everybody, would be Jet. I do feel there'll be scenarios where Cooper will get up there, get a good start, where Jet maybe gets a 5th or 6th place start, and Cooper's able to get up there and kind of pressure him a little bit, and we'll see how he reacts to that. Obviously Anderson bumped him around a little bit in those first couple of corners, and then that didn't last for long. So it'll be interesting to see once he gets a 5th or 6th place start, that not all these guys are going to part like the Red Sea and just let him through. They're definitely going to, put a wheel in there. So other than that, I thought the 250, for me, the obviously RJ rode absolutely amazing. Whole shot wire to wire, was no one was catching him. I think Voland did absolutely amazing, much better than I anticipated. In fact, on Motobookie, I did lose a number of bets. I had Voland closer to the 5 to 7 range, just based on previous performances on the KTM. I didn't see a situation where he was going to be up front battling with Kitchen like that. He surprised me. I thought it was an absolute amazing ride. Kitchen obviously looked good. He's always going to be fast. He was on it. Unfortunately, Thrasher going down that quick, you weren't able to see what he was going to be able to do later on in the main event. And then, of course, Jordan Smith, veteran ride, looked really solid, never looked out of control anywhere, even in that gnarly set of second whoops, I was watching the most because that seemed to be the sketchiest line, at least that I could see. And then I would give the performance of the actual whole Saturday to Julian Beaumer. Amazing, man. Came out, got a great start in his heat race, ran up front, looked like he belonged. And for a minute, I'm like, okay, the rookie nerves. He got a great start. He was able to put it up there, but I'm not convinced that that's going to happen in the main event. And in the main event, I got to tell you, he looked like a veteran. He looked like somebody who felt like they belonged there, like he'd been doing it, for 10 years. He was never really out of control. There was never no big, oh crap moments. I thought Juju was absolutely amazing. And for me, I would tell you that I think the absolute, hands down, no questions asked, Saturday's ride of all rides came from Juju. It was amazing. Just he looked good. He looked strong. Obviously, probably tightened up. And I think in an interview, he said that, he held his breath. And those are all the things you would expect from a rookie. But I give him to mid-season, give him 3 or 4 rounds to get up there, learn the pace, learn the tracks. Obviously, he has to figure out the whoops. There was in the second set of whoops, he was definitely losing a lot of time, but then he'd make it up in other areas of track. So I think once he has an opportunity to really dial the whoops in, I could see him being right up there in contention for wins. Other than that, I would tell you that I thought that jumping back to the 450, this is old news, and I think we're beating a dead horse. Obviously, you guys have clearly seen that I've thrown up the 250 clean out Vince Freeze fund. I'm sorry, 2,500 clean out Vince Freeze fund. Call it what you want, but this gentleman seems to always be in a situation where somebody is potentially going to get hurt. When you look at the thing with Christian Craig, that could have been a career ender, blowing him off the track like that at that highest speed. You look at the World Supercross stuff of holding riders up and cross jumping Kenny. Then you look at the heat race. He cuts down and Hunter ends up hitting the ground. Could have ended his season with a collarbone or a broken arm. Who knows? Then you see the main event. He dives in and takes Dino out. So it's, I know that there are some people out there that are like, yeah, man, but this makes for good racing. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I don't know that putting yourself and other riders in a position where you guys can both get hurt. And I think he has a separated shoulder now. And it's just something that needs to be addressed. I don't know what it is, but every single time this guy's on the track, there seems to be some sort of insane chaos that ensues around him. And you would just hope that a guy like that isn't the cause of one of our, let's call him one of the big dogs, the upper echelon riders, to end his season early on because this guy decides he can't make the right decisions at the right time. So for everyone out there that's been blasting me a little bit on my disagreement with the Vince Freeze style of riding, that's just my take on it. I don't know him personally. I've never met the guy in my life. He's probably a great guy, but it's kind of hard to deny that there's an issue when you watch these things happen, and he seems to always be involved in it. And I just hope that somewhere down the line that gets cleaned up because, for example, this is Dino's last season. He's kind of a farewell tour. He's been a staple in the industry. He's a great ambassador for the sport. And to watch the poor guy constantly having to pick his bike up off the ground because one guy makes bad decisions, it's just a bad look. So, for everybody out there in the Vince Freezy land, I know I watched Cooksey, and Cooksey kind of came to his defense. And that's cool. He's entitled to his opinion. But for me, I don't think riders out there should be in a position where they can actually hurt somebody. The WSX, the cross jumping Kenny. I mean, those things, one tie up in the air and Kenny's back on the ground and he's, it could be his arm, it could be his wrist, and that would suck. I mean, there is a lot of people that fill these seats and they tune in to see these upper echelon riders, your Ken Roxon, your Mookie, your Eli, your Jet, so on and so forth. I would tell you there's not a whole lot of people on the broadcast tuning into Peacock to say, hey, I want to watch Vince Freeze. So for him to take one of those guys out or remove one of them from the series because of a bad decision, I think is just stupid. And I hope he can clean that up, for his sake, because now he's hurt. So I don't know where that leaves him for the rest of the season. So on that note, that was kind of my A1, the stuff that I saw. I'm very interested to see what San Francisco brings. Apparently it looks like it's going to be a mudder. So I'm going to tell you right now, my Motobookie bets for this weekend podium, I'm putting AP or Barsha up on the podium. I think a mud race can definitely switch everything up. Bikes blow up, people go down, things happen. I think this weekend, as far as an opportunity for AP to actually get that first win, this may be setting up for a perfect opportunity for that to happen. I don't know how many more chances that he's going to get, in a flat out race where there's, where he may be able to get the whole shot and kind of replicate what he did last year, before crashing. But this could set up to be that AP win. And man, I got to tell you, it would be so sick for the sport. I think just having him get that one win, and even if it's only one in his career, he's such a fan favorite, such a nice guy. I saw him in the pits, signed a shirt for me. I actually rocked the DBK mullet shirt at the race, and he signed it for me. I just feel that a character like that, a guy that's just, is just super cool, for him to get a win, I think would literally blow the roof off not only that stadium, but would be great for the sport itself to watch him get that win. So for me this weekend, I'm putting AP up there. I know Barsha is known to be good in the mud. I think this is a terrible, terrible scenario for Eli. Coming back, on a comeback trail, riding in the mud. You're not going to get a lot of bike data if you're just rolling around in a mudder. I don't know that the fitness is there. I don't know how the Achilles holds up when you add 30, 40 pounds of mud and dirt to the boots and to the bike and everything that comes along with a mud race. And I don't know that Eli's ever been known to be some sort of standout mud rider. So I don't anticipate him. I anticipate Eli being 7-10 again. I don't think a mud race is a situation that's going to turn his season around right now. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of the top guys do if it is in fact a mudder. But my pick this weekend is going to be Bam Bam and or AP up on the podium. I'll still have Jet for the win. Obviously, he proved himself last year when him and when RJ tried to get him in that last corner in that big mud race. He's definitely proved that he can ride the bike in the mud. As far as the 250s go, I'm not super knowledgeable about who's going to be good or bad in the mud. I would say Volan, being an up north kid, probably has experienced that northern rain, California rain, a number of times throughout his career. I'm going to go ahead, taller rider, probably more stable in the mud. I'm putting Voland on my podium for this weekend for Motobookie. I think he's going to, NorCal crowd. He's a taller guy. I think he can pull it off in the mud. So that's kind of, what my predictions for this weekend in San Francisco. Once again, before we end it, I just want to give another big shout out to Buttery Films for helping us promote the Motobookie app. I ask everybody, please check out the podcast, check out the Instagram. Go to app.motobookie.com. It's absolutely free. You don't need to put in your credit card. At the end of the day, we're just trying to create something super cool to engage the fans, let them have a little bit of opportunity to wager on their favorite riders. And at the same time, you guys can win cash prizes. Like I said, next month, I hope to have some merch available. So we'd like to do something for like the top 20 people. We'll do cash for like the top 10 and then merchandise from 10 down to 20. So yeah, please guys, go check it out, support us. And we look forward to jumping on the podcast after San Francisco and kind of giving you another update. Once again, just to recap, racing for the app goes live. The events go live Thursdays, usually around 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will upload the event. So wagering starts on Thursday, and then events results get posted Monday evening. So we've had a number of messages coming in asking why the results don't go up automatically. We have to wait until Monday when AMA kind of posts the official results. Sometimes things change, riders get penalized, and it's very difficult to go back into the app and adjust all of that. So we usually wait till about Monday midday, and then we post results Monday night for everybody to go on and see how they did. So also, we ask you to please invite a friend. There is an invite a friend link in your profile on the Motobookie app. Once again, man, we came up with an idea we think will help grow the sport, put some new eyes on the sport, and anybody who can jump on and help us promote this thing, we would really appreciate it. So thanks again. Let us know what you think. Message us on Instagram. We're open to suggestions on the app. If there's some things you like, you don't like, we're open to hearing anything and everything that people have to say so we can improve the quality of it. So thanks again, man. We look forward to seeing you guys next week for the review show of the San Francisco Supercross round. Talk to you later.